Hey, Cavs fans. Welcome to the Cavs Pick and Roll Podcast, the podcast for diehard fans by diehard fans. I'm Alex, and I'm here with Corey. How you
Hey,
doing,
hey,
Corey?
I am excited as always to talk some Cavs basketball. And Alex, we get to talk about something we really haven't had to talk about all year yet, which is the Cavs' largest losing streak at 3 games. Are we freaking out yet? Are
Yeah,
you good? You good?
seriously.
You
It's
good?
it's been hard to talk about.
Are we gonna is this gonna be the first episode we're gonna like bash them and trash talk them a little bit?
I don't know. Do we have some drama to talk about?
I mean, kind of welcoming it at this point, Trade season's here. We could talk about everything we need to do, blow it up. We're at 3 games. If we go to 4, Alex, I feel like I don't know, the fan base might get a little crazy.
Yeah, we are in a little bit of a slump. It kind of reminds me of last season too, where we were real hot going into getting leading up to All-Star break.
Uh-oh.
It's very reminiscent of that.
Yeah, let's not go down that path again. Yeah, no, you're right, but yeah, I mean, we're a little bit past the halfway point in the season now, and the good news is, Alex, is so far this hasn't been a pattern, right? Up until this point, they only had one losing streak in the season that I recall, and that was the back-to-back losses against the Atlanta Hawks. And for the most part, the Cavs have always done a pretty good job at not letting these things string out too long. After they have a bad loss or a tough loss, they usually find a way to come back and bounce back pretty quickly. So, they're at 3 right now. We'll talk about some of the reasons why. And it's just another good test for them. They got to realize, and hopefully they are, that they're not, they're mortal, and hopefully this kind of humbles them a little bit, if
Yeah,
anything. So that's kind
exactly.
of the positives I'm trying to take away from every loss that has happened so far. Is it's a learning experience. Check your ego a little bit, right, and come back humble and figure out a way to win the next game.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not too worried about it.
it's it's
I think
it's
it's good. It's good. They need it. They need to go through this. They need some adversity, like you said. It'll help
Yeah.
them grow. It'll help them, in the long run. This is a good thing.
It helps that they've been playing so great all year, have been able to build a little bit of distance from the rest of, the teams in the East as far as standings. So like they have some wiggle room to where in years past it's like, yeah, we'd be freaking out right now. Especially with the trade deadline around the corner. We'd be talking about the 3 guys we got to ship out to bring in, whoever. So it's different, and yeah, it's easy to be like, you know what, they're gonna bounce back, they're gonna figure it out. But we got to see it happen as well, right? Otherwise, we will start having a different tone. But I don't think that's gonna happen, Alex.
No, I mean, and I think the main reason, right, is because we're not healthy right now. There's just too many injuries. With LeVert, Okoro, and Mobley were out for 3 of those last 4 games. I mean, that's half of your rotation right there. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not worried. We're just not healthy right now. That's why we're dropping some games.
Yeah, yeah, and overall, I mean, it's not like the Cavs have been healthy all season up until this point. They've had some other, injuries. Struess was out the first, month and a half of the season. Some other guys have missed a couple games here and there, and the Cavs have been able to figure it out and still win, a lot of ball games, right? But again, it was a matter of time before the Cavs were going to go through a little bit of, a downward momentum for a little bit. And just the month of January, Alex, hasn't been the best month of the season for him. They lost 3 in a row. They lost earlier. I believe the Indiana game was earlier in the month. So they've lost 4 games this month, which is like almost all of what they've lost up until this month came in the
Right.
season,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yep.
So it's like, whoa, what's happening? This feels weird. We're losing some games here, right? But again, they have a little bit of a leash, a little bit of wiggle room here with how well they've been playing up to this point.
Yeah. So, you want to go back and talk about a few of these games?
Yeah, let's go back and talk about a couple of them. I mean, obviously, a lot of games have happened since the last time we recorded. But we won't go back too far because that doesn't make too much sense. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird, Alex, because The last losing streak we had was a scenario where we played the same team twice. If we didn't play them twice, but we played them 2 out of 3. The Cavs dropped both games to the Houston Rockets, who are playing pretty well, by the way. They're 30-14 on the season. And the Rockets, to me, Alex, are just such a weirdly built team because, like, the biggest name, and I don't mean this in any kind of disrespectful way, but the biggest name on that team is Fred VanVleet. Who signed for some money, and they got Jalen Green and Steven Adams and a couple other young guys, but
Yeah.
they're not a superstar heavy driven team, or they don't have like the number of top 5 guy in the league playing on the team over there, and they're playing pretty good basketball.
Yeah, I think they make up for a lot of that with just their physicality and how aggressive they play. They got some scrappy guys on that team. They play with a lot of
Mhm.
strength.
They do, and I've always liked Steven Adams. Going back all the way to his OKC days, he's just an old school big to me. He's not out there shooting 3-pointers. He's just out there putting in work, getting rebounds, protecting the rim, playing D, pick and rolling. So and the last game we played against him, he gives you 14 points. And looking across the box score here, hey, we've seen this. You have 6, 7 guys in double figures. It's going to be hard to lose, right? But yeah, unfortunately, the Cavs dropped this game, and it's just weird, Alex, that they dropped both these games. I thought for sure they were going to get that one of the two at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought we'd get the one at home.
Yeah, and Garland, man, he came out, man, had 39 points, he and 9 assists. He had a big game. Mitchell gives you 33, and this was the first game that Mobley came back, but Mobley quite wasn't himself. Gave you 7 points, grabbed some rebounds and stuff like that. But first game coming back from being out a couple. I feel like if we would have got just a little bit more out of Mobley, we'd probably win this game. Not trying to put it on him, just kind of not a typical game for Mobley, I guess, from an offensive standpoint. Your boy Niang, though, tried to make up for it with 21. So got to credit Niang whenever we can. I know that makes you happy.
Yeah, I mean, Niang, he was on a good shooting streak there. He was knocking them
Yep.
down from three
Yep.
point range.
Yeah. Yeah. See, stepping up, man.
Yeah, somebody's got to. Man, I've been
Somebody's
I've been
got
really
to.
disappointed in a few people.
Yeah. Yeah. But this game I thought the same thing. I was like, this is a home game. They lost him before. There's no way they're going to lose this game. And just, man, I think, one of the biggest problems, not only are they missing some bodies, which contributes to what we're about to talk about, but really the biggest problem lately has surprisingly been their defense, which, for quite a while, they've been known as one of the best defensive teams in the league. And, the month of January, Alex, has not been very, fond to them or fine to them or whatever. And I saw a tweet from Chris Theodore recently saying that in the month of January, they're like the second worst defensive rated team in the league, only ahead of the Washington Wizards. Not a good sign. Not a good sign. But
Yeah,
is that basically what's going on here in your opinion? Do you think it's the effort on the defensive end?
I think specifically the perimeter defense. Yeah, other teams are just knocking down threes on us left and right, and
Yep.
that's just going to kill you every time.
Yep, absolutely. The Cavs can light it up, right? They can fill it up. They can knock down threes. They can put up a lot of points. But guess what? So can about 85% of the teams in the NBA. So if you don't guard at the other end, it's like that Boston game early in the season. Remember that one? We were, toast by halftime, basically.
Right.
You can't just let that up. And again, that has to be a learning experience because when the games do count at the end of the season, come playoff time, you can't be giving up all those threes. Otherwise, you're going to, these 7-game series are going to go by fast and you're going to be on the wrong side of that.
It seems like in a lot of these games, besides the 76ers games where it went back and forth quite a bit, but in
Yep.
these two Rocket games, the Cavs were just extremely sluggish.
Yep.
I think the Rockets led, you know, both games the whole way, and the Cavs just try to come back in the fourth, which they almost do
Yep.
both
Yep.
times.
Yep.
But
Exactly.
I mean, in this most recent game, they were down the entire game, and then fourth quarter they dropped 47 points in the fourth quarter because they think they can turn it on and win the game.
Yep. Yep. Can't always rely on that.
Yeah.
It's worked a lot this season, right? Where they've gotten some wins that, last year they wouldn't have because they turned it on, but they can't always bank on that. And you know what? Every team, the Rockets just feel like one of those teams where I don't know, maybe we don't match up that great with them. I don't know. Sure, having an Okoro running around out there, having a LeVert running around out there like the Energizer Bunny certainly would have helped as well. But the Cavs also have enough depth on this roster, Alex, to where, in my opinion, if the defensive effort was a little bit higher, those are both winnable games. All
Mm-hmm.
three of these were winnable games, in my opinion. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
let's talk.
I think it is just a tough matchup, man. They got
Yeah, yeah.
Sengun, in the center there, and
I mean,
he was really giving Allen a hard time. That's for sure.
yeah, yeah, totally. So let's go into the 76ers game. Man, Ty Jerome. I know we lost this game, but Alex, Ty Jerome had a game. One of those Ty Jerome games. He is still so fun to watch. So glad he's on this roster. Dropped 33 points in 33 minutes. Sadly, despite his effort, the Cavs come up short. And again, this was one of those games where, look at the box score. Not only was the defense, I mean, he gave up 132 points, right? That's a lot of points to give up. But also, on the offensive end, we didn't have that balanced scoring between, 4 to 7 players. You had Mitchell, Garland, and Jerome in double digits, and that was it. Struce 6 points, Wade 2 points, Allen 8 points, Merrill 9 points. Like, you needed somebody else to be in those teens. And again, this is probably a winnable game, along with a little better defensive effort. Just hate to see a good Ty Jerome effort go to waste, Alex.
Yeah, me too. I mean, typically he is on fire, man. It's usually Ty Sanity,
Yeah,
and I mean, he went 8 for 8 from three in that game
crazy.
against the Sixers, and then he went what 0 for 5 against the Rockets in this
Didn't
last
have a
game.
good game. Didn't have a good
Yeah.
game against the
So
Rockets. Yeah,
Ty Jerome's awesome. He can be up and down a little bit, but
sure.
man, usually he's on fire. So
Yeah.
did not surprise me at all.
What bothered me the most about this game is Embiid didn't play in this game, and we lose this game. And I've over the last year or two now, I've like, not that I ever was really a big Embiid fan, but I've turned more on the I don't like Embiid. He just seems, I don't know, kind of whiny, gets hurt a lot. I don't know. And I'm like thinking to myself, there's no Embiid. You can't lose these games to these teams when they're missing their best player like that. And of course, this is the game, Alex, where Paul George turns back the clock and drops 30 on you.
Mm-hmm.
That really hurt. Maxey drops 29. Oubre drops 22. It's too much. Eric Gordon's dropping 15. Like, come on. It's just too much. The Cavs didn't have, the answer on the offensive end, and not enough of an answer on the defensive end this game either.
Yeah, I agree. Gordon and George, every time we like started to make a run or just get momentum, they would
Yep.
nail a back-breaking three. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, we just cannot.
Can't get
We
over the
just,
hill. Can't get
yeah,
over
we
the
just
hump, right?
can't get anything going.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was a tough one to lose. I mean, on the road, but the 76ers, they're a lottery team this year on top of it, right? They're 16-27, going nowhere fast. They're probably I'm curious to see, Alex, what they're going to do. I know they just brought in Paul George, but I'll be curious to see if they're like starting to think about, should we flip Embiid for as many assets as we can get and start our rebuild now or not? And I'm thinking he might want to go play for another contender too. I don't know. I feel like this is coming to an end with the Embiid years there.
I don't know. Possibly.
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 Just a bad loss. Not a very good team to lose against. And again, they're missing their best player. So that one out of the three is probably, I don't know. I don't know if it bothered me the most, but it
I
bothered
mean,
me.
we
I know.
we're also missing. We were
Yes.
also missing three players. Tristan Thompson got 10 minutes. So
Hey, TT.
hey, I mean, Sam Merrill got 19 minutes. He only went 2 for 6 from three.
Yeah.
Merrill's been in a slump. He hasn't been hitting the three. They
Yep.
keep giving him, 15 plus minutes. It's like he's not great on defense. And if he's not hitting the three, why is he on the court for 15, 20 minutes
It's
in
tough
every one of these
because
games?
because
It's because
you're
LeVert's out. I mean,
LeVert and Okoro are
it's
both
just
out,
injuries.
and
Yeah.
you're just trying to find a spark, which he can bring. But yeah, when he's not hitting, he's a defensive liability. He gives effort, don't get me wrong, but he's usually smaller than the guy he's guarding. He's obviously not as athletic in most cases. He's not dunking the ball. He's not meeting you at the rim or anything like that, or grabbing rebounds or away from anybody. So Sam's getting an opportunity, but yeah, unfortunately, not able to take too much of an advantage of it. And even the rook Alex got 14 minutes. Jalen Tyson getting some minutes in this game as well, but wasn't able to do a ton, unfortunately. So, and then the game before that, back to the Rockets again, Alex. This one hurt. This one
Yeah.
hurt. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I mean, they came out slow. Rockets punched them in the mouth right away. And the Cavs were playing catch up
Yep.
the whole rest of the game until they got to the fourth quarter. And then again, they tried to turn it on at that last minute. They actually had like a 6-point lead with maybe 2 minutes left, if I
Mm-hmm.
remember right.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. They
yeah.
even outscored them in the fourth, 25-15. Um, it just wasn't enough. And then
Was
was this
this
the
the
Garland?
Garland?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this
I
was the
can't
Garland
remember.
free throw game. I believe where he missed them at the end. And I mean, totally uncharacteristic. Like I think I said this to you at work. I was like 99 out of 100 times he makes those free throws, the Cavs win the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So very uncharacteristic. Just unfortunate that happened because you're seeing a loss basically slip out of your fingertips, out of being down most of that game, battling back and having an opportunity at the end of the game. But this one kind of stung. And then yeah, again to lose them again at home a couple days later, just man, the Rockets and the Hawks got the Cavs number this year, I guess.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe that. When Garland got fouled and he went to the line to shoot three, I was like, all right, we
It's
you
done.
know, we got a
It's over.
chance here, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he
Yeah.
misses 2 out of 3. Ah, that was rough. That was brutal.
Yeah. Yeah. That hurt. But yeah, I mean, you already kind of said the story. The Rockets came out first, and the Cavs had to play catch up, and just
Yeah.
you know,
Sengun, took it
yeah.
to
I
us in
mean,
the paint, and we just had no answer.
yep,
Mobley out.
yep, yep, yeah. So that's the last couple games. The last game the Cavs won was against the Phoenix Suns. We probably won't get into that much outside of the fact we both said the same thing. It was pretty fun to mop the floor with the Suns and Kevin Durant. Even without Mobley, without Okoro. That's the last win the Cavs had, Alex, against the
Yeah,
Phoenix
yeah,
Suns.
that was a fun game to watch.
Yeah.
KD, Booker.
Hmm.
It's always fun to see those guys play, and it's even better when you're kicking their butts all up and down
Yeah.
the court.
Yeah. That was real fun. So the Cavs are due for a win. And their next game is against our old pal, JB
JB
Bickerstaff.
Bickerstaff, yeah.
Detroit Pistons are coming into town the day this episode will go live, which is on Monday. And Alex, you're gonna be there.
I'm gonna be there. I got tickets,
That's awesome.
so I will be there.
Courtside, right?
No, they're just nosebleeds.
Yeah.
But
Well,
hopefully it'll be a good atmosphere,
yeah,
and I know I'll get to see a win, so I'm excited about that.
yeah. Bring your binoculars. You could look at JB.
Yeah.
So the Cavs are still going to be without some players, Alex. They're going to be without Dean Wade. They're going to be out without LeVert, and they're going to be out without Okoro still. Okuro's been out like 6 games now. This is the second game Wade's been out, and LeVert, I don't even know how many it's been. It's been a couple as well. And JB's got Detroit playing competitive basketball. Like, if you look in the standings, they're down there around that 8-9 range. And the Cavs got to be careful. They need to figure out a way to win this game because in all seriousness, You don't want to drop to four losses in a row, losing at home, so on and so forth. It's time to right the ship, if you will. And Alex, what are the Cavs? What do you want to see them do tomorrow night while you're there live in the flesh? What do they need to do adjustment wise to win this game?
I want to see him get back to moving the ball. They got in the habit of getting down court, making a couple passes, and just lining up a three. And it's three after three after three. I'd like to see him get back to moving the ball around. I want to see more alley oops to Allen in the paint. I want him to get back to, Allen is a beast and he can be an offensive weapon. And they just got to
Absolutely.
get back to using him.
Absolutely. Do some pick and roll action, throw him the oop and let him slam it and one. I mean, yeah, I would love that's one thing that's missing too out of these couple games here. And again, not that I'm expecting Allen to give you 20 points every night or whatever, but we all know he's capable of it and he's had plenty of those kind of big offensive nights. And yeah, we need an Allen offensive night. And I just looked at the standings. I guess I haven't checked in a couple days. The Pistons are the 6th seed right now, Alex, in the East. That's
You know, I
crazy.
Yeah, it is. I took a look through the Pistons roster just to see, who all's going to be there, and of
Mm-hmm.
course Cade Cunningham.
Yep.
But who else is really on that team? You got Tim Hardaway Jr., Ron Harper Jr. There's some familiar names, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tobias Harris, but he's out injured. And
Jaden
that's
Ivey.
Paul Reed. Uh,
Household names.
yeah, I mean that's there's
And,
not a
and
whole
and
lot.
like I said, JB's got them playing, got them hooping. They're 6-4 out of their last 10. So, you look at this game on the schedule, you're like, oh, it's the Detroit Pistons. Cavs are going to end this 3-game road streak, losing streak, easy win, right? At home, book it. Cavs got to be careful. They got to come out ready to play, focused, and you know, because the thing about the Pistons, everybody that you rattle off there, I didn't hear a lot of outside of Tim Hardaway Jr. I heard a lot of young names. So JB's probably got them, running and gunning, and a bunch of young athletic guys out there. So
Mm-hmm.
it'll be a good little test for the Cavs. I'm confident they can answer the call, come away with the win, but they gotta approach this game, humble, respect the opponent, don't just assume, and go out there and get a win. But that's going to be an awesome experience to go to the game. That'll be fun way to start off the week.
With the Cavs at the top of the standings, they're going to get, everybody's going to give them their best game. So,
Absolutely.
and with the Cavs struggling these past 3 games, I'm sure Detroit smells blood in the water. They think they're going to come into our home and try to get a win. I don't see it at all. I think we're
I,
going to crush them.
I hope so because like I
Mark my
said,
words.
Cavs need to get back on the right side and start winning again. The Cavs have the Heat, and then the Hawks again. Actually, we do get the Hawks again, so maybe we can get some vengeance there. So, Alex, one thing I wanted to ask you, the Cavs are struggling a little bit. Their defense isn't so great. Some players are out. It's trade season. Trade season is gonna, it's gonna come to a close here. Before we know it, we talked about this on the last episode, but we didn't lose 4 games and missing as many people as we were. Are you still on the camp of the Cavs don't need to make a move? Or now are you a little bit more open-minded to making a tweak? I did hear I've been told that Jimmy Butler is available. Any any interest there?
No, I have no interest in Jimmy Butler.
You don't want a 36-year-old,
He's
50
he's
million
on the wrong
dollar
side of his
old
prime.
player,
Prima
maybe
donna. Nah,
who winds himself out of a city that, yeah, you don't want any of that.
sure don't. Sure do not want any Jimmy buckets over here.
Did you real quick, and then I seriously do want to ask you about a trade. Um, One of the places that he's been linked to is the Phoenix Suns. And did you see the trade that the Suns made with the Utah Jazz? They basically acquired the first round draft picks the Jazz acquired in the Donovan Mitchell trade with us, with the Cavs.
Yes.
Basically saying, well, Mitchell's good. The Cavs are good. He re-signed. Their core re-signed. They're probably going to be good for a while. These first-round picks are worthless to us. We're going to go ahead and ship them out. And the thought was that Phoenix would use that in a trade with Miami to land Jimmy Butler. And what Utah got back in that trade is a 2031 first-round draft pick, I believe it was. And I think it was Jason Lloyd I saw tweet out or put out on social media, whatever, that the Utah Jazz will not see a first-round draft pick from the Donovan Mitchell trade until 9 years after the trade was made. That's insanity.
That's wild.
That'd be like us trading LeBron, and again, I don't remember everything, right? That happened. I don't remember all of the picks or whatever we got. I know it wasn't a lot, and I don't know what those picks amounted to be, but I'm pretty positive that it wasn't almost a decade later that we saw some sort of draft return from making that LeBron trade. We'd be crushed.
I'd say it's more like when we traded Kyrie and we got a lousy
We lost.
Isaiah Thomas in return.
But that trade turned into Colin Sexton, and that trade turned into some other things too. And it wasn't 9 years later that we got.
It feels like it was 9 years.
It
feels
does.
like it's been 9 years.
Yeah, well, just crazy that Utah's not going to get a pick now for 9 years.
Yeah, that is crazy. They did get some good players from us, though.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, trade season's here. Do the Cavs need to entertain making a move?
I don't think so. I don't think. I don't see it. I don't see it happening. I don't know who's out there that's would be available. I know there was talk about trying to get Cam Johnson, but who are we going to give up? There's very few players I'd be willing to give up, and I just don't see. Anything that we do that could make an impact really.
A 3-game losing streak at past the halfway point of the season is not enough justification for me to stop believing in this group, in this team. We've seen throughout the season that, especially when they are healthy, they're a pretty tough team, right? It's warranted them being the best team, not only in the East, but in the NBA up until very recently. I'm sure after these 3 games, OKC's a little bit ahead now. And even with people out, like a Max Strus in the beginning of the season, we've seen other people step up, and we've seen the team come together and still be a dominant team in the NBA. So why you would mess with that would be, I would question that. And Cam Johnson is the biggest name I've heard as well. And you most likely would have to package multiple players to go get someone like Cam. And Cam's a nice player, but now all of a sudden, when you ship out 2 to 3 guys to bring them in that were part of your rotation or knew their roles and gelled with the players, not only on the court, but in the locker room, and egos are in check and all that. And then you got someone like Cam who could play, trying to fit in, with one of the best teams in the NBA versus being on a team that's kind of struggling, which gives them a little bit more of a green light and able to do a little bit more things. I don't know. I don't know if I would bank on that, working out very well. So I'll be curious to see if the Cavs do anything, but I'm still on the camp of I really don't need them to do anything.
No,
because I've already their track record this season so far speaks for what this group is capable of doing.
Yeah, exactly. You can't base a trade decision on these past 4 games where 3-4 players are out hurt. So once we're healthy, I think we'll be unstoppable again.
Yep, agreed. So you have signed off on keeping Niang for the rest of the season.
Oh, don't get me wrong. There's players I would move. I'd have no problem moving Niang at this point.
He just dropped 21 the other night. Yeah.
Yeah, one game out of 44. That's not a good sample size there.
I'm gonna go back and count how many games he's had this year. 15 points and up. probably more than you think. I bet you he's getting close to that 10 game mark.
Possibly. He has
It's
played
possible.
better this season than he did last season. There's no doubt about
Yes.
that.
Yes, definitely.
No question.
Definitely. So we'll see what the Cavs do here. These next couple games, hopefully bounce back. We'll see if they entertain any trade ideas. Alex is going to the game, against the Pistons, so that'll be fun.
Mobley's back, but now Wade's hurt, and I just
Mobley's
saw
back,
that
but Wade's
Wade's
hurt. Yep.
knee soreness got upgraded to a knee sprain,
Ooh.
which is what happened to him last season, and he was out from March to May. So
Yeah,
hopefully it is not that lengthy of an absence again.
right. And that could change things a little bit, right? Because, you know, Dean Wade he's been playing that starting role for a lot of the season. And for the most part, it has worked out. Dean Wade, out of the starting five, is your fifth player, your fifth option, if you will. But he's capable of doing some nice things and complements the other starters, right? But he's also a very under the radar player. But all of a sudden, if you lose someone like him, you would say, well, yeah, you just slide in Struce. Struce started last year. What's the problem, right? Well, Struce brings a different dynamic than Wade, and Struce has been a little bit up and down so far this season. So, I'm hoping this isn't the case, but if the Cavs determine that they're going to be without someone like a Dean Wade for any significant time, all of a sudden that might open up the window, the door, if you will, to entertain making a small move to bring somebody else in to help fill whatever void they feel they're missing, if someone is out for a little bit or whatever. So they'll be curious. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. I like Dean. Like I said, he's able to do some things, and for the most part, he's been doing solid this year. So Alex, the other thing that's going on, or that had recently kind of just happened, was we found out the All-Star fan voted in starters for this year's All-Star game. Not a surprise, I don't think, right? That Donovan Mitchell is again a starter for the Eastern Conference All-Star team. Pretty cool
Yeah.
to have a guy that's pretty much penciled in, probably for the next foreseeable future for the next couple years, right?
Yeah, totally. Well deserved.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say, from the last time we recorded, I did start to see some Cavs player creeping up on that list. Mobley went up in the rankings. I think I saw him as high as like 6, I want to say. He was like 10 when we recorded last. And I saw at one point Allen jumped to number 10 and Garland started moving up on the guards. I think he made it up to like 5 or something like that the
Mm-hmm.
last time I saw the results come out. I don't know where they're at, now or whatever. But pretty cool that we have a starter. But we not only have a starter, Alex, we also have a head coach that's going to be at the All-Star game, Kenny
Kenny
Atkinson.
Atkinson. Yeah.
Well deserved, man. We were talking about that last episode. How cool is that?
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if any more Cavs make the reserve list.
Yeah, I'm hoping at least one more can sneak in there. Um, I don't care who it is, but if I had to pull for one of the three, it'd probably be Mobley, right? Just because you want Mobley to be that next guy, right? That next star, in the NBA, that up and coming star. And I think it'd be really cool to see Mobley make it in that game. I will be honest with you, an All-Star game doesn't really serve Mobley's style very well, right? He's not like a flashy guy. He's not going to jump out of the gym per se. He's not going to sit there and knock down 5 or 6 threes in the game. Garland could do that, right? He's got the handles. He could make some moves, get to the rim, make some crazy passes, knock down some threes. So between the two, Garland would fit better in an All-Star game. But if I had to pick, I'd probably go with Mobley just to see him get that recognition. Who would you pick between the three if you can only have one?
Yeah, I agree, Mobley.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the fan vote is the fan vote over?
I believe that's done. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
believe
fan
that's
vote's
done.
over, so now it's media and what, coaches
Do players? I think players still
and
vote too.
players,
I think
media,
players
coaches,
still vote.
players.
I don't know if they switched it up or not, but
But
players used to
definitely
vote
the
as well.
fan vote is a household name popularity vote, and
Yeah,
I feel like the players, coaches, media will be more get the players that deserve to be there more votes. So I'm hoping that the Cavs players will rise more
yeah,
through the list than they did from the fan vote, if that makes sense.
definitely, definitely. And we'll see if back in like the early 2000s when you had the dominant teams like the Detroit Pistons, like the San Antonio Spurs, you were seeing dang near their whole starting lineup going in these all-star games. That slowly at some point no longer became a thing. One, because you typically, I guess you had the Warriors and the Cavs for a little while, being dominant, and you would have three players from those teams going. But it feels like it's been a while, or it's not like the thing to do anymore to send like four players from a single team to the All-Star game. And I have my doubts, but I do wonder if the Cavs will get some love just based on the fact of what they've done up until this point in the season, which is be the best team in the NBA and really dominating. Hopefully that's going to get them some brownie points, if you will. And it'd be very cool to see at least two sneak in. I'll take one. Um, and I even would take Mobley making the game and like a Garland being invited to the 3-point contest. Like, I think that'd be really cool too. Or
Yeah,
in the
that would be
skills
cool. I would like to
challenge,
see
or
that.
yeah, that'd be awesome. Cause I think Garland would have a great shot because he can get as hot as anybody in the NBA.
I still want Ty Jerome in that 3-point contest.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. Ty.
Great in that game, man.
It
That's
was awesome.
was amazing.
It was awesome.
So much fun.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So
Some
did you ever get a chance to check out 2K25 yet?
Shoot, no, I haven't.
Come on, man.
Oh, I know.
You're supposed to be playing with Ty and Mobley. All right, that's your homework assignment.
All right.
Go play the Detroit Pistons game tomorrow before you go watch the Detroit Pistons games tomorrow.
I'm on it, coach.
Go play against JB before we go play against JB. Yeah. The other thing too I saw real quick, I was like, man, I didn't even know this was a thing. Maybe you said it to me at work at one point, and maybe I just missed it. But did you know that Netflix it's called Starting Five? It's kind of like a behind the scene series where they follow five NBA players. And like last year, they followed like LeBron James, and it's going to be your household names, right? It reminds me of gosh, I forget what it's even called. What was it called what was it, HBO or whoever was following it's like the football teams, and like the
Oh
Browns
yeah.
got it one year. It kind of feels like that, but they're following a player, right? And they just announced the players that were going to be for season 2. And I opened up the link and I was like, oh, give me Donovan, give me Donovan, give me Donovan. He wasn't on the list, and I forget who was all on there because I didn't see any Cavs player and I didn't care. But I got to go check that out and watch that just to see how it is. And it would be really cool to see someone like a Donovan Mitchell on that because I don't know, he's got that personality and that like charisma and that superstarness to him that I think he'd be good for something like that if it is what I'm imagining. Don't you think he'd be good for something like that?
Oh man, that sounds cool. I got to check that out. You said it's on
Yeah,
Netflix?
it's on Netflix. It's
Man,
called
how have I
Starting
not
Five.
heard of this?
I know, I know.
I watch
Um,
everything basketball.
yeah, yeah. So I got to check that out too. Didn't even know about it until I saw something pop up today. Um, One thing I will say, Alex, that I'm disappointed on, unless I've missed it, it feels like it's been a minute since we got a row back episode from the Cavs, has it not?
Yeah. I haven't even checked their YouTube channel to see
Yeah,
if
but
there has been anything.
usually I get a notification or I see somewhere on their social media pop up. Like I said, maybe I've missed it. Don't live on my phone, but man, with how fun of a season this has been, it's like take advantage of that, right? Put out an episode every 2 weeks. Probably a lot more production work goes into that than we can ever imagine, but it feels like we're due. we're due for one. We'll have to go check their YouTube, Alex, and see, because it's been a while since we've talked about one of their episodes as well. And it's always fun kind of giving a quick breakdown and a review of those episodes. They're usually a pretty good watch.
Yeah.
Well, Alex, got anything?
I can't really think of anything else. Looking forward to the game tomorrow.
Yeah.
It is it's a promotional night. They're giving away knitted gloves. So I will be back with knitted gloves.
Okay. You gotta wear them.
I'll wear them on the next episode.
And you gotta wear the. I won't spoil. Yeah, you gotta wear the hat. He's got it right there.
Oh, I got it right here. It's,
no, that's not.
Not this hat.
No, that's not the one I'm thinking of. But you can go ahead and wear it. Alex has multiple. You look like an elf.
I got the Christmas Cavs hat here.
Nah, you gotta wear the Mozgov hat.
Oh, the Mozgov hat. Oh yeah, I got that one sitting right here too.
And the gloves. That'll be awesome, man. That'll be awesome. That'll be a fun game.
We just put away our Christmas tree today, so.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, finally. I was like, well, let's just keep it up. 11 more months, it'll be Christmas again.
Right.
Might as well.
You gonna rock a jersey to the game? Which jersey?
Yeah. I'll probably wear my Mobley jersey.
Yeah. Very nice. Well, that'll be fun. Have a good time at the game. Hopefully you will watch the Cavs win. And Cavs fans, we want to thank you as always for tuning in and listening. And Alex, you want to let them know where they can follow us and connect with us?
Follow us on Twitter at Cavs Pick and Roll. Shoot us an email, cavspickandroll@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr. Watch this episode on YouTube. Wherever you're listening, watching, click like, subscribe. Leave us a rating or a review. We'd appreciate it.
All right, Cavs fans, there it is. We will talk to you again soon.
Peace out, Cavs fans.